round 3.
Chad Durdle Arthur in his Grixis Fevered Visions.
And we have Tyler. He playing Bant Company. We were trying to avoid putting this deck on camera, but we had to get the Fevered Visions deck on.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know,
This is what we got.
you got to break some eggs to make an omelet. I'm not sure who's got the play, but we'll find out soon enough.
Does play a pretty big role here. Okay. Band Company on the play.
And if you'll remember last week, this Fevered Visions deck features Alms of the Vein.
Yeah, the All-Star Alms of the Vein. Oh, man.
There he goes. We're each keeping 7. And this is exactly what the Fevered Visions deck wants. It wants the comes into play tap, the slower. I guess the Band Company deck doesn't have any 1-drops, so I'm really...
Right.
But
if
he passes here, the Fevered Visions deck is just happy. Yep.
There it is.
He's in a great position now.
Let's see what his turn 2 play is.
Yep. It shows one of those nice reveal lands. You're going right to the dome.
Aggressive. I like it.
I think the Grixis player knows if he tries to interact with the Bant Company deck, you're not gonna be successful. You're gonna have a bad time.
Sylvan Advocate on
Sylvan
two.
Advocate. He must have drawn up his lands in a weird order. Because we'd much rather have that bad boy on 2 than 3. But here we sit. Alright, so the second burn does not go right to the dome. It targets the Advocate.
And so is this a matchup you think you want the Fevered Visions in?
Yes.
Okay. You definitely want Fevered Visions here.
Absolutely. The Bant Company deck plays at instant speed.
Right.
And it gains a lot of advantage by playing at instant speed. So if you penalize it for having cards in hand, you're doing all the right things.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. And here we go.
Here we go. Chad gets his extra card. Passes back to Tyler with 4 lands. And a grip of 5. A long, hard think.
Tyler's in an awkward position here. Even if he has the Dramoka's command, he doesn't have a good second mode for it right now.
Right.
Because Chad's done such a great job of keeping all of his creatures off the board.
Yep.
So now,
and normally if
playing out guys. Sorry, go ahead.
If he's on a company situation here, just drawing a card and taking 2 to the grill is not okay. You'd almost main phase that company.
Yeah.
And he missed his 5th land drop.
That definitely helps the Fever Visions player. Ooh, wow. That's a good one.
Wow. Yep, and I think at this point, you can call the game for the Fever Visions player.
You're going to call the game right now.
I'm calling it.
We're calling the game. 12 life might as well be 0.
It's not practice.
It's not practice.
It's a game.
This is a game.
We aren't talking about practice.
No, definitely not talking about practice here. So I think the Bant Company player here definitely has plenty of time to jump back into this game. 5th land drop helps.
He's got... Yeah, passing the turn doesn't help. He goes to 10.
10's still a healthy life total.
I think if you get to 6 against this Grixis deck, you're just dead.
Absolutely. But 12 and 6 are very different numbers.
And 10 and 6 are closer on the number line than
They're
12 and
certainly
6
closer,
are.
but this is not ball game just yet. Quilled? Oh.
Yep.
Drawing
He's
card
got
for
5 in
Quilled.
hand. He's going to take 4. And you have to remember, Chad's got a full hand. And
Yeah,
he's
he's got a full
playing every burn spell you can think of, including Alms of the Vein.
grip. If he takes 4 here, then I would definitely agree that that's probably ball game.
It's just it's a tough place to be. That can't target a Fevered Visions.
He's trying to get a creature to stick to resolve Drunkus command, though.
Here it comes. Okay.
So this gets 2 cards out of hand. He's down to 3, draws a 4th.
He goes to 8 here.
So that's definitely not a great place to be, but still hanging in there a little bit. 20 life, though. You gotta imagine, even if he's just throwing shocks at this point, that Durdle's gonna be able to whittle him down here.
Come on, Alms of the Vein. It's definitely not Alms of the Vein if he's thinking about it.
Yeah, he would have just fired an Alms of the Vein off.
Right.
There's the Alms.
There it is. Love Lightning Axe in this deck, too.
There's the Tireless Tracker, too.
Tireless Tracker, one card that is much worse against the Fevered Visions.
That's true.
There it is. Alms of the Vein.
One of the things I like about the standard format is that it feels like all the different decks are attacking from a different angle.
Mm-hmm.
So you get this Fevered Visions deck, you get like the Emrakul deck that's really just like, alright, well here's a 13-13, I'm going to kill you with it.
Right, it's doing one thing.
Then you get
Doing
this
it well.
Bant Company deck, which is just, you know, it's a thing. It's definitely a thing.
Bant Company deck is a deck where there's so many pieces that just happen to fit together nicely.
Yeah, they just happen to fit together. Total coincidence.
Well, the problem is that every card fits into Collected Company. If you cost 3 or less,
Right.
welcome to the squad.
And then Mage came out and punished you for playing anything that's 3 or more because it's just going to get bounced and you're going to lose so much tempo.
Right. It's just a tough nut to crack. So here he is at 5. There's only 3 fresh ones off the Bedlam Revelry here. And we're going to see if they're...
It's like land tormenting voice.
Mm-hmm. Gosh, she's seen so many cards.
Looks like he has another Fevered Visions. Down to 3.
Now this is where you don't want to be.
1 Alms of the Vein away from victory.
I've got this. I want Amphic's Judgment to be in this Grixis deck so bad.
I can see why.
It has to be better than Alms of the Vein.
Alms of the Vein is 3 damage for 1 mana. To get that much damage out of an Avacyn's, you need like 4, right?
Right.
So I don't know that it has to be better than Alms of the Vein.
Right. Looks like we got main deck Declaration and Stones from the Bant Company deck.
Is that an outlier? Is that an interesting choice?
I think so. Most of the lists I've seen are on Companies and Dramoka's Command, and then you make a choice about whether or not you'd like to play one Ojutai's Command.
Oh, okay. So maybe he's just going straight past the Ojutai's command into the deck in stone?
Sure. I mean, you get to handle bigger guys.
Right.
And as a tempo deck, giving somebody a clue is not a huge deal. Because they need to be doing things. They can't be
Yeah, they can't sit around.
durdling around, as it were, sacrificing their clues.
Aha.
But against his Spirit Visions deck, he's more than happy to have a clue.
He's trying to figure out how to deal this last damage here. See another Fevered Visions, a Collective Brutality. Digging for the Dramoka is not found.
Yep.
That'll do it.
There we go.
Game 1 in the books.
I mean, that turn, it was a turn 4 Fear Visions into 2 tap lands. It's just really hard to come back from that.
Yeah, you really need to get off onto a good start.
Yeah, you need that
Put up a
2-drop,
good
3-drop
clock.
Collected Company. Because that gets 2 cards out of your hand every turn.
Right, and he was just a turn late on that. Like, he had the Sylvan Advocate on 3, and then he had the
Right.
Tireless Tracker on 4. And it just wasn't fast enough.
Was not.
Yeah, this Fevered Visions deck's a real deal.
Yeah, I think that card's cool. It's a fun build around. The build around I cannot wait to get my hands on is this Panharmonicon.
Yeah,
So you realize if you put a Thought Knot Seer into play, you get to take 2 cards out of their hand?
Okay,
Um,
I can be on board with that.
if you Reflector Mage, you get to bounce 2 creatures.
Sure.
You can actually execute the Eldrazi Displacer, Drowner of Hope, Infinite Loop combo with it.
Very nice. Yeah, you can go infinite there.
Right.
You can double up on all of your Gear Hulks.
Do you get all your Gear Hulks? Can I play those?
I mean, you can.
Fan-
Nobody's stopping you. I'm not going to stop you.
Fantastic.
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 It doesn't
I'm
double
trying-
up your Emerge guys, though, which is kind of weird.
No, yeah, they're all cast triggers.
Right.
So, in this wild game of Nuance we have, you got to make sure you read the card, make sure it's not a cast trigger, it's a enters the battlefield trigger.
It was pretty awkward in Battle for Zendikar block where half of the Eldrazi were cast triggers and half of them were comes into play triggers.
Yeah, I don't think there was any cast triggers in the battle block. It
You
was
don't-
all in Innistrad.
So, is Oblivion Sower cast or comes into play?
Oh, and there was World Breaker, and
Right.
oh yeah, you're right.
And
That was
Ulamog,
a
Kozilek.
weird.
It was pretty much split right down the middle. It was very awkward.
Interesting. I never thought of that.
I think the way that Panharmonicon's worded, though, is it also affects things that have static abilities of, like, when a creature enters the battlefield under your control.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping there's some way to abuse something like that. So you can develop your board with something like that before you have to play this 4-drop artifact.
Well, I think this 4-drop artifact is just like a win you the game
Okay,
kind of situation.
sure. Yeah,
I
none of the
think
cards you mentioned were bad.
right, yeah, I think you can play a blue-white control kind
Maybe
of.
uncastable, but certainly not bad.
I think you can play a blue-white control kind of, gum up the board style deck.
Yeah, just like a tap out control.
Yeah, Panharmonic on them.
Panharmonic on them.
Panharmonic on them. It's almost an onomatopoeia.
I don't think it's.
Even close to that.
No, that's not what an onomatopoeia is.
Isn't that a word that sounds the way it's spelled?
No. No, that's not what it is.
What is that?
A word that sounds like it's spelled? I think that's just a word.
No, like, there's a word for that.
But it sounds like it is spelled.
If I'm wrong in the chat, just tell me I'm wrong.
So the word company sounds like it's spelled.
So words like buzz.
Yeah, that's onomatopoeia.
What?
That's onomatopoeia. You're having a hard time formulating this definition in your head, and I can tell. I can see the wheels turning. But the way you said it just describes literally every word. Not every word.
Right.
Some look kind of weird.
Literally 60% of the words in English.
Right.
60% of the time, it works every time. It looks like we're on a double mulligan here. Who's advantaged by the mulligan? I say Bant Company.
Oh yeah, Bant Company for sure. He might be mulliganing.
Are they talking about the
intentionally.
chubby Eldrazi? That is. That's my spirit animal right there.
Durdle agrees.
I think he was saying the chubby Eldrazi looks like a Pokemon, which I can't disagree with.
Very colorful Pokemon.
I think Pokemon's a very, very colorful game.
That's true. Now it is. It used to be all black and white. Just like you imagine the color.
Well, they told you what color they were in the cartoon.
That's reasonable.
It was a reasonable thing for them to do.
Alright, let's see. We both keeping on 6. Looks like we're in the tank.
Alright.
Durdle's down to 5.
The mulligan to 6 is just so great.
Yeah. It's almost free.
Yeah. But I think it generates a really great decision point.
I
Like-
definitely agree.
Like the mulligan before, you didn't have it, you went to 5.
Right.
They did a great job with that.
That's definitely my favorite change that they've made to Magic since I've been playing.
Oh, you didn't like the, when they announced the modern format?
No, I did. But I didn't like it as... Like, I don't think it impacted the way every game of Magic is played the way that the mulligan change does.
Oh, if you want to talk about impacting every game of Magic, then how do I even start the conversation?
I don't know.
I guess I have to start with the mulligan.
I guess you have to start and end with the mulligan.
Alright,
Alright.
we got a scry, you got to keep.
Alright. Wilds usually is setting up a turn 2 Advocate.
He shows one of the worst evolving wilds.
Yeah, I don't like that one. But,
It doesn't even have the rare foil stamp on it.
yeah, I don't know that that's necessarily a thing, but it's definitely not where you want to be.
Here we go.
Here we go.
This is a much
2-drop on the play, starting with
stronger
6
start
cards.
from Tyler. Yeah, he's going to keep himself below 3 cards this whole game. And he's going to continue to apply pressure. He's missing a blue,
Yeah, no blue.
but
Short of that, he's got everything he wants.
good sequencing there. Attacking first and then playing. the Selfless Spirit,
Absolutely.
if you just play the Selfless Spirit, then he knows, you know.
Right. There's the blue source. How do you feel about that? The fiery temper on the Sylvan Advocate.
Um, it's fine. You're getting the Selfless Spirit either way. And and at the point of him having two creatures in play is not you're not gonna burn him out. Like you have to draw an extraordinary amount of burn to get him dead.
Right. My only thought is it gives Tyler a decision. Where if he's like, alright, well, he might have a Thermo Alchemist, so I want this flyer to stay in and get in the air.
Sure.
Whereas if you know you're just going to kill the spirit anyway, then just burn the spirit. Don't give him the chance to make that decision.
Just a hard cast Alms of the Vein. Nice. See, I love this. It's good patient play. He negated the card advantage that the spell queller provided. That's huge.
That is huge. And see, if you would have just let his Sylvan Advocate die, like he could have been trying to keep around the Selfless Spirit to protect a spell queller later on.
Here's a Nissa that we're not going to see for very much longer. Yeah, you put cards on the bottom. He has to shuffle that deck. He put the rest of the company cards on the bottom. He has to...
Right. You can't
Shuffle.
know where any cards in your library are.
Please don't let him not shuffle.
Are you shuffling?
Alright. I'm a big procedures guy. When in doubt, just follow.
Just shuffle it out.
Do what the card says exactly. So Chad's missing blue here.
I don't know how big of a deal that is for him.
I mean, he's definitely holding on. I mean, this is a competitive game. I don't think he's gonna win it, but he's definitely giving himself avenues that can win it.
Certainly. I think it's a little early to call a winner, but... but he definitely needs to get all of his mana so he can deploy all of his spells. Comes to play tapped.
Alright, we're gonna quell some spells here. Gosh, really, 3 toughness is so huge in this format, and fiery impulse would be humongous here.
Sure.
Like, if he could fiery impulse that spell queller when the shields were down, and I get real concerned when I don't know. Ooh, the octopus. See, now here's a cast trigger I've enjoyed before.
I can't beat that has been announced.
Womp womp. Yeah, that was not the best game for Chad, and you could see that Tyler executed his game plan perfectly. We might have had a little stumble with the Selfless Spirit Spell Queller Sylvan Advocate interaction there. I do like...
That was more of a stumble on Durdle's behalf, I think.
Sure. But I like your thought process there.
So now we switch it up. We've got Chad on the play. Tyler on the draw. how big do you think that impacts Chad's fevered visions?
I mean, I think it makes the turn 3 Fever Visions fantastic. Even in the face of a 2-drop,
Right.
it provides you an additional card so that you can control the board.
Right.
Um, and it makes him draw an additional card as early as possible, keeping his grip as full as possible.
Yeah, maybe we can cry about it some more and they'll fix things. Probably not though.
Well, this is one of my things when you're a brewer, and Chad definitely is. I think you guys would all agree that Alms of the Vein is not a mainstay in this Fever Visions deck. But when you are in that position, always always give it time to figure out how many of each land you should be playing, which lands you should be playing. Um, and the other thing is to play maybe one more land than you think you need.
One more than you think you need.
I've always felt that to be helpful.
How many lands do you think are in this favored visions deck?
20, 25.
25. Oh, there's your +1. Yeah, I don't disagree. I think it's a heavy land deck.
Yep. And here we're gonna get a turn 2 Sylvan Advocate. No burn spell, and we're gonna get a Visions back. You just stumbling against this Bant deck is not an option.
Absolutely not.
It'll punish you every time. Yep, here we go.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to be passing turns with mana up in this matchup. Stuck on 2 land.
Well, that's good news. Makes you wish you cast that Fever Visions last turn, huh? Alright, we're gonna burn some things out. Oh! Unsubstantiated. I think you gotta. It's the whole game plan, right?
Certainly, but it can draw him out of this land deficit that he's found himself in.
He still only gets to play one of them a turn.
Right.
And Chad still has 5 of them in play to his 2.
Correct.
So he's going to be doubling up on cards. And then, so he hopefully will play as many lands as Tyler would. Maybe even more, since he has things like...
the triple advocate draw.
he has things like Tormenting Voice.
Right. So he'll see a lot more cards.
Right. So I think even in this situation, you put the Fever Visions into play. You gotta add the pressure.
Deep in the tank here. In the tank no more. Here's a Goblin Dark Dwellers. Kill your guy. We're getting aggressive.
There we go. See, this is a fine clock too.
I know how much of a fan of Goblin Dark Dwellers you are.
This is one of my favorite cards from the previous block.
It's also one of my favorite cards from the previous block, but I know how to temper my expectations around goblins.
Right. I think I fell in love with it. We had both won PPTQs with the Mardu Green deck that strongly relied on Goblin Dark Dwellers.
Absolutely.
It's fantastic here because Tyler's answer to it is Reflector Mage.
Right.
Which is fine. I love having an additional turn to, do whatever I need to do and then
But
replay
if you don't
this.
have like a clock, then which is the state that Tyler finds himself in now.
Yeah. I'm just saying it's a card that fits into this matchup well because the answer for it is so poor.
Absolutely. But on the other side, Tyler's deck is full of 2/3s. So if it does come to an actual combat phase, then it's just gonna 1-for-1.
You think Chad's gonna let it 1-for-1 with all the burn he has in his deck?
No.
Right.
That's not Chad's game plan, but that would be Tyler's.
Right.
So we've got a Naked Spell Queller.
Yeah, that spell color's wearing the Emperor's new clothes, it looks like. And it also looks like he had to take 1 to cast it. Seeing as how he's at an even numbered life total, I don't see how that happened.
Did he have to pay 1 to cast his other stuff? No, because he took 3 from the Collective Defiance, right?
Oh, sure. Okay.
So 4 and 4. Looks like we're right.
I would personally have gone the distance there, too. Oh, I guess it's only instant or sorcery, isn't it?
Right. There's the Fevered Visions.
Yeah, the attack puts Tyler to 6, and I just don't see how he survives.
Yeah, this is not the spot you want to be in. Especially if you didn't draw a land there. Like,
Yeah.
your out is basically draw a land and play 2/2 drops and then do something similar next turn.
So interesting. If you would have asked me before this match, I would have put my money on the Bant Company deck.
Well, certainly stumbling on lands doesn't help.
Oh, I'm not saying he's had a fantastic draw. But,
It definitely looks like Chad's deck came to play against the Bant Company deck.
you know what? Bant bought himself another turn here. He went down to 4 on the Fear Visions at the end of his turn, and there's any number of things that could occur here to end the game.
So it looks like he has another Collective Defiance. Could get him down to 1. Or not a Collective Defiance, a Collective Brutality. Maybe it's an Alms of the Vein and we're just going to fire it off here.
Fever Visions, Tormenting Voice is creating this land.
Rip.
Alms of the Vein 1 time for the win.
There it is. Doesn't even show him the 4th land. That spell costs 4, right?
I think the spell costs 3 and
Does
kicks
it?
for 4.
Okay.
Kicks on the 4th one.
Oh yeah, he just did the 3 to him.
What's the name of the
Escalade?
escalates?
Yeah. That's a strong mechanic with Goblin Dark Dwellers because you can escalate on the rebound too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So I should play all the escalate spells in my Dark Dwellers deck?
You should play them.
A great number.
Depends on which ones fit into your deck. I wouldn't just jam them.
So I'm going to play a red-black deck. Should I play more than 6 escalate spells?
No, you're playing a control deck, right?
Yeah.
No.
All right. Well, I'm
There
going
you
to go
have it.
I'm going to go write up a deck list.
I'm gonna go cry in a corner.
But we'll both be back for round 4 after these replays and messages from Top Deck Productions.
Oh,
You
God.
take 6, and the painful truths are extremely painful for you. And these stupid scions are protecting me from Liliana.
Did you have it? Yeah. 10?
Actual Stone
Ending
Rain?
the Stone Raid, this
What are
time,
you
let's go. This is the situation, this is why.